Okay, so we've just had the update from Rishi Sunak, our Chancellor, and finally some good news for the self-employed, some help and support. So what the Chancellor has said today is that if you're a self-employed person that's been trading for over a year, that means you've submitted a tax return for 2019, or you should have submitted a tax return, you will be able to claim up to £2,500 or 80% of your earnings. So £2,500 is the maximum of your average monthly earnings for the last 3 years. So there's a huge amount of work to be done to prepare this. This is for businesses that have a trading profit of below £50,000. I'm just referring to some notes here. So I've made myself a note of things I wanted to talk with you about. So people that have a trading profit of £50,000 or below. And that's because obviously the larger companies, larger people trading on a self-employed basis should not need the government support at that point. Now, because of how complicated this is, and the Inland Revenue are going to need to be involved in this, in the processing of this, the understanding is, and what the Chancellor has said, is that claims probably won't start to be paid out until June. So as a crutch in the meantime, for people that can't wait that long before receiving any support from the government, you can make claims for both universal credit and for other benefits. So you can go to the DWP website to have a look at that. And if you make a claim for universal credit, which normally takes 5 to 6 weeks to assess all of the claims, you can be awarded money straight away after you've made your claim for universal credit, and an advance payment can be made to you. And for people wanting to know what support is out there, they can go to www.businesssupport.gov and they can actually have a look at all of the information. Now, people who are self-employed, they can also apply for interruption loans. And there are grants available for small businesses up to £25,000. The Chancellor made an announcement last week that businesses will not have to pay business rates this year, which is welcome news. So a lot of help and support coming forward, which is really, really positive. I'm really pleased for self-employed people. I do appreciate there is going to be a bit of a gap between now and when the payments are made. So there are those grants and loans available, and councils do also have hardship funds too, but you should be getting in contact with your utility companies, get in contact with insurance companies, get in contact with car finance companies, get in contact with mortgage companies, and also your landlord if there are any issues, because you can ask them to put those big payments on hold for 3 months until you start then receiving the government support. When that does then come through, it'll be backdated, so you should then be able to clear any debts that you've accumulated through either rent, mortgage, bills, etc., car loans, credit cards. So speak to your creditors straight away and explain the situation, that you're a self-employed person, you can't do your job because of what's going on, and you have made a claim under the government scheme. So information will be shared on all of my social media pages if you want to find out how you can make those claims. Also, some other good news today. The council has suspended all parking charges. So if you live in a residence parking zone or you live near a residence parking zone, those controlled areas are currently suspended. Parking wardens will not be issuing tickets. However, they will still issue tickets for people who are parking in disabled bays where they're not supposed to be. All charges in council car parks are ceased. So if you live near a council car park, you can now leave your car there overnight, or your works van, or whatever it may be. And of course, parking on double yellows, parking on corners, those kind of contraventions do still remain. So you will get a ticket for those things. So make sure that you are trying to stay at home as much as you can. And the council have ceased the parking control schemes because we appreciate that carers and people who are vulnerable that need help and support will have people coming to their homes. And also more people are home now during the day than they normally would be because they can't go to work. Final one, two final things actually. The HIVE Portsmouth launched their Just Giving page yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you to everyone who supported. They've raised just under £1,000 already in 24 hours. So if you can help, go to the HIVE Portsmouth Facebook page or Twitter account, and you can make a donation to them under Just Giving. You can also register if you're somebody who needs help and support by contacting HIVE Portsmouth as well, and make a grant claim from that pot of money that they've got. HIVE Portsmouth are also seeking 5 mobile phones. If there is a company out there, not individuals, if there's a company out there who have 5 mobile phones that they could loan to the HIVE for 3 to 4 months for the staff who are having to work in a remote building because they need to be very spread out, so they're not able to work from their normal office space in Central Library, then please do get in contact with me or message HIVE Portsmouth, as I say, via Facebook or Twitter. So now I really am on to my final thing, which is supermarkets. Now, supermarkets, we know that people have been buying a lot of food. They've been worried and frightened about being, indoors for a number of weeks without enough supplies. Now, the supermarkets, I think, are proving that they can restock the shelves every night. There is not a lack of supply of food coming into the UK. We've seen through our own port in Portsmouth just over the last couple of days on Twitter, all of the freight lorries arriving from the continent. So there is enough food being produced. Food producers around the world are going and factories are going into overdrive to get food made, to keep the food supply chain across the world moving freely. So we have seen that supermarkets are calmer now. People that have been out to supermarkets yesterday and today have reported back to me that, sometimes in supermarkets now there's hardly anyone in there and it's very quiet. There are still occasions and there are still supermarkets where there are large queues. I know the online booking systems are incredibly busy, and I think the online booking systems really are now going to be used for regular customers, for NHS staff and for elderly and infirm people, disabled people, but actually people that can make their way to the supermarket just to get the food that they need is going to still be permitted activity for leaving the house. So thank you all for listening. Please share this page to get the information out there as much as possible. Help for the self-employed, no parking wardens issuing tickets on the whole at the moment, and supermarkets are calming down and food is getting out there. Please stay safe, everyone, and don't forget the 8 o'clock clap Thursday night, 26th of March, clap for the NHS.